Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. This episode is brought to you by Omaze, who is doing something very, very cool right now. Through Omaze, you can win a dream road trip across the Pacific Northwest with me, Rob Ferretti, Dave Patterson, a bunch of our friends, and more, in a brand new C8 Corvette, all expenses paid. They will fly you and a friend to Seattle, where you will be handed a C8 Corvette from Gotham Dream Cars that's been shipped there for you, and you will embark on a 2,000-mile epic road trip across some of the Pacific Northwest's finest roads. I will be there with my wife. Dave Patterson will be there with his lady. Rob will be there as well. It's going to be a fantastic time, and they are even giving you a $1,000 gas card. All of it benefits Team Rubicon, which is an extraordinary charity I really encourage you guys to look up. They do great work. We love it, and that's happening in July, but the contest goes from now until April 24th. So go to omaze.com/thesmokingtire. That's omaze.com/thesmokingtire to enter, and you could go on a road trip with me, Rob Ferretti, and a bunch of our friends in your very own borrowed C8 Corvette. Do it! Also, in our BlipShift store right now, blipshift.com/TST, we've got a brand new shirt from now through April 16th only. Get it while it's hot, folks. It's the Canyon Run. If you haven't seen the movie The Cannonball Run, this is a takeoff from the movie The Cannonball Run's movie poster with Burt Reynolds and Roger Moore. It is with me and Zach as me as Burt Reynolds and Zach as Roger Moore. It's got the Lambo on it. It's got my van. It's got Zach's BMW. The guys at BlipShift really nailed this one. This is a very cool design. It's only on sale for 2 weeks only, so you can go to blipshift.com/TST and get it in a short sleeve, a long sleeve, or get it in a hoodie. All are available. Get it now. 2 weeks only, now through April 16th at blipshift.com/TST. On this episode of the show, our remote game is getting very strong. Zach has sorted out all the technology, so we got to give him applause. And our boy Thad Brown, who is a creative director, a cinematographer, and a producer, and an excellent photographer. He is calling in from Dubai, where he is quarantined to his apartment in a land with an even more strict government than us. So he's calling in to talk about the Dubai car scene, drink a bottle of wine with us, and talk about what it's like to be under quarantine in Dubai. It's Thaddeus Brown on this episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast.
What up? It's the fucking Smoking Tire Podcast, morning edition. It's really nice when we do our evening podcast because nobody's around to complain if I smoke weed in the office. And this is sort of the same, except it's the other half of the day. Live and direct from Dubai, Thaddeus Brown is in the house. What up?
Hello, everybody.
And you had the shot. Oh, you fixed your shot is better. There you go. Going with the go with the two shot.
Grab my wine because it's evening time.
Oh me. Yeah. All right, we're drinking for him. I'm drinking coffee. This is when Zach and I were in Tahiti a couple weeks ago, I had a little chat with my sister-in-law, Jillian, who was with us, and we were talking about what our favorite drugs were. And I had never really considered what my favorite drug was. I mean, weed was the obvious choice, but then Jillian drops the bomb, and she goes, weed and 2 cups of medium roast coffee, and I go, oh, you're a genius. That is my favorite drug. Weed and 2 cups of coffee. What is that?
Hippie speedball.
The hippie speedball. We would do this all the time, and before we go on road trips, if you recall.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I would drive. I would drive.
Someone else would be driving, and then we would just get coffee from Minotti's.
Yeah.
And a responsible driver would drive the vehicle, and we would hotbox the shit out of personal vehicles.
Thad, Minotti's, by the way, allegedly. Minotti's, because you haven't been around for a while, and for those who are once this whole horse shit is over, able to come to Los Angeles, Minotti's, this dude nicely owned this coffee shop around the corner from us in Venice. Yeah. He has now expanded to like 3 locations, and I think multiple trucks also.
No way.
He went and made coffees for like 6 weeks on the set of Top Gun 2.
Wow.
And but
Fucking
he's
brilliant.
But Minotti's, these guys race service here in LA. It's like Jacob Agajanian and Sam the Drift Idiot and all those guys, Ryan Turk and all them. They've got this shop. It's not really a shop. It's a media agency that's sort of disguised as a shop. But they have a Wednesday morning Cars and Coffee. Well, had up until recently, but I'm sure they will again. And it's great because it's only the kind of people who can go to a Cars and Coffee on a Wednesday go. You know what I mean?
4-hour work week
correct
people.
type of people generally.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not that I don't enjoy a weekend Cars and Coffee, but
it's a shit show.
Well, yeah, and it's every different kind of rich guy. So you've got doctors and lawyers and all that kind of stuff, and they're all very nice people. But when you have a Cars and Coffee on a Wednesday, it's all freelancers and creatives and artists and people who work as video game designers and actors and just the kind of people who could get away for a couple hours. But Minotti sets up there, dude, and now they've got this new coffee drink that I'm fucking with every time. It's a shot of espresso, sometimes a double, tonic water, and then a twist of orange rind. Bro, it's game on.
Hold on.
It's a cold drink. Oh. Are you writing that down?
That sounds fucking brilliant. No, I just got a phone call in, and it somehow now rings to my computer.
Oh yeah, dude, turn your fucking Wi-Fi off your phone. Anyway, for the audience in here, Thaddeus helped start the Smoking Tire back in the day. He was with us for a very, very, very long time before he was like, "Oh, I can make way more money by going to Dubai and working with these Habibis." So what the fuck is going on over there, dude?
Well, business as usual, really. Like, other than the fact that at 8 p.m. no one's allowed to leave their home until 6:30 in the morning.
So wait, that's what the quarantine is? It's like a 10 hours a day quarantine?
So you're not supposed to go out at all unless it's for essential things like grocery store or the pharmacy or things like that. So you're supposed to stay in as much as possible. Like the beaches are closed, the malls are closed, restaurants are closed.
Oh yeah, so they're taking it seriously.
I think we have like one of the lowest cases per country. I haven't checked lately, but it's pretty damn low. I have toilet paper.
You have to send some, dude. You have to send. You're gonna have to, it's fucking hard to find here. We were thinking about the toilet paper thing. I think in hindsight, it takes up a lot of space on the shelf in the grocery store. So I feel like if you look at the soup cans aisle, there's a lot more cans of soup there than there are rolls of toilet paper because they're so much bigger.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I mean, there's way more sticks of gum.
Yeah, there's like, I know that's like a dumb stoned thought, but like I was like, why toilet paper? And it's like, well, it's very not dense, and
that's why it gets sold out so quickly.
Yeah.
There's just less supply.
Yeah, there's just less of it compared to other shit in the store.
And they sell a 30-pack, so you're like, I'm buying one item.
Right, and not everybody eats canned peas, but everybody shits.
Yes,
and so that's where
that's a book, isn't it? Everybody poops.
It is a book.
Let me tell you the Middle East secret.
The three seashells.
Here, basically, every place here has a shataf, is what it's called. It's a hose. It's like you know how you like. I think we had it at your house where it pulls out and it sprays.
It's like a bidet.
It's like a handheld bidet. So like you can use not a lot of toilet paper. It's the best shit ever.
And if I recall, that's pretty standard issue over there, right?
Oh, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's like you feel crispy and clean. It's quite nice.
What wine did you crack? What are you drinking?
I am drinking a Chianti.
Oh, good.
From Berry Brothers and Rudd, who do my wine buying for me. And I just bought this at the store because I've never had any of their house blend shit.
I hope you decanted that.
I don't have a decanter. It's fine.
You don't have a fucking decanter? Are you kidding me? You have someone who buys wine for you and don't own a decanter? What the fuck?
You got to open it 3 hours ahead.
It's on the list. Should happen.
Thad, some people are asking like what you do, and so give us a quick synopsis of like You know,
what would you say you do?
What would you
here?
say you do there, and how'd you get there?
I do the same. I make content for corporate clients now. So I work for an agency, and we have a variety of different people. So I'll do photos or video or storyboarding or shitty copywriting, and then someone else makes it better. Stuff like that, really. So I'm still filming stuff, still making things, and just selling out a little bit for for clients.
Selling out doesn't matter unless your fucking face is on it. No one cares if the producer or the creative director or the cinematographer works for a corporate gig. They only care if the face on camera sells out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like
yeah.
My friend. I have great clients. Like my friend Ewan is the best. Like I've been doing some documentaries recently for them before all this shit hit the fan. And he's just like, here's what I want to make. Go make it. And he leaves me the fuck alone. I think it's great. And I have some really great stuff that's in the can. Like you were in one of them that was supposed to premiere this month for a big car event. Did a documentary on flowers.
Oh yeah, those are the Dutch flowers.
Yeah.
The Amsterdam flowers.
Most of the flowers for Europe, or roses specifically, are grown in Naivasha, Kenya. So we did a film about how the flowers that go to your house in wherever come from basically two spots, Quito, Ecuador, or Naivasha, Kenya. And then how it wasn't really possible 50 years ago without air freight. So now you can have like beautiful fresh flowers all the time for relatively cheaply.
And was that Emirates Freight? Emirates Cargo? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Emirates Sky Cargo, yeah.
But I think when you, because like to go from LA to just like move to Dubai is a pretty big jump. What was it like? You met Phil when we were filming Drive in Dubai. Was that it?
Yeah, because we were here on Valentine's Day 5 years ago.
I feel like it was 2014 or 15.
Yeah. I had a good time, and then
we just talked about that on the last show when you and I went to Oman in the Aston Martin, and everyone thought I was making fun of them for complimenting their old Lexuses, and they all thought I was being a dick.
No, the Lexus is the best fucking car here. You get all the black tint.
Yeah.
You ride people's bumpers, you flash your lights, and people move out of the way. It's the best. Or a Land Cruiser,
it's
the
a
Lexus
great
has
car.
the reliability.
The LS400 is such a fucking good car.
Yeah, but we were in the Middle East February 2015, and
yeah, we had a good time. It wasn't a million degrees. I was fooled by the weather, wondering it can't get that hot. I grew up in Florida. Like that's hot. Like it can't be that bad. So we missed the summer. Phil chases me for basically all summer. It's like come over for. So it'll be the end of whatever that year is. Come over for a month or two. Come over, do some more fun work, shoot some racing. Then at the end of it is like, you want a job? I'm like, yeah, because our YouTube channel Drive was sold and being ended. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. So I'm like, let's go to Dubai for a year.
4 years ago.
More than a year.
Yeah.
It's been more than a year.
I mean, it's tough. The job that you have in Dubai, it's not that it doesn't exist here, but it's just it's a very rare job to have here in LA. Yeah. Your job typically exists on like a freelance gig basis here and not on a permanent salary basis. That's like, for a creative, that's a fucking hard thing to say no to.
Yeah, and not funding a Donald Trump presidency is really nice as well with taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
say there's some tax advantages. And the wine.
Yeah, there's. No, fuck. I wish I could get some of the wine that the store near the old warehouse was. Oh, there's so much good shit.
Oh, at the wine house? Yeah, they had some good stuff. We've actually, the wines. Booze is up. There's not a problem getting wine.
Always goes up in
there's not a problem getting
downturns.
wine. Although Blanton's, which is our favorite sort of still drinkable bourbon, Like Thad introduced me to Blanton's, and me and Zach and together when we went to film that Corvette in Kentucky, and we were there when they were bottling the shit. And I was at the store yesterday, and a bottle. Do you remember how Thad? Do you remember how much a bottle of Blanton's was like 4 or 5 years ago?
Would have been like $50.
$149 at the store yesterday.
Oh,
you're kidding!
For regular ass Blantons.
I bought a bottle in Scotland for $70 of Blanton's.
I think I have a feeling that because people who like to drink good shit are now stuck at home, that people are buying. Well, fuck it, I'm gonna get a bottle of Pappy and drink that shit to my face.
Yeah, it's cheaper than buying shitty stuff at the bar.
I mean? That would, if you were here, wouldn't you buy like a bottle of Pappy and just sit at home and just sip it for the next month by yourself?
I have 2 bottles of Yamazaki 12-year in the way back.
Yeah.
I remember those when we would just drink it because it's cheap and good.
It was, and then some fucking magazine.
$45.
Well, it won Whiskey of the Year for the world, and then it was $26 a shot.
Yeah,
really quickly.
Yeah, it's insane,
and it went away.
So that's I have a status of what I'm drinking. The further along this shit goes, the better the booze gets.
Oh, see, that's a good strategy. Yeah. The booze gets better and better as you get deeper into it. Our friend Dave Feinsilver is going to find himself there.
Yes.
Well, he has a supply that could last a town.
He's our friend Dave is a visual effects supervisor for movies and a very talented one. But I think you probably seen him on my Instagram before. He's a collector of fine, rare bourbons, and he's probably got, I don't know, 200 bottles, 300 bottles, every single one of which is something very special. And
he's $25,000 worth of booze. Easily.
If it's that little, I'd be shocked. I think it's probably more by now. It's a whole room at this point.
It's a room.
It's an entire room of liquor at this point. And man, is he working his way through that?
You just got like under his kid's crib. He's like, the kid's not using this part. Just run out of space.
Yeah, got nothing to do.
You can
up
sleep
there.
on the boxes.
I mean,
he showed me at your wedding. It's insane. I'm like, you went hard, Dave. Like, you fully committed to this.
I think they've shut down some of the Facebook like groups that were doing the giveaways or the raffles or whatever kind of like whatever the scams were that were going on
for
the booze. Yeah, the booze on Facebook. He said they've knocked down some of that and they're not really allowing it anymore.
I don't know they even had those. Well, I'm not in that circle, but
yeah, no, I think Johnny was talking about that shit too. If you're like you join these Facebook groups and you either you put in $20 or something, or 50,
right,
and the winner gets like $1,000 bottle of bourbon or whatever the fuck it is.
Why'd they squash it? They're like, this is only for fantasy football. Excuse you.
Gambling and child porn only, please.
Fantasy
or election
drinking.
Interference,
Right.
maybe, but not booze.
Yeah, no fantasy alcohol here, sir.
Yeah. And in LA, weed is considered an essential service. And so all the ganja stores are open. I have not seen much gouging with weed. In fact, on the wholesale level, prices are down, which is quite nice. I got enough fucking weed to last until the actual apocalypse. We're good.
Well,
we're okay.
Jana's husband Tony works for a CBD manufacturer, and they have so much demand for production, but you can only have so many people in the business now. So they have a backlog of things, and they can't keep up with demand.
Well, hopefully this doesn't fund the robots that replace all of us. That would be a problem, right? All of a sudden, it's like, wait, all this orders for shit and no people, but all this money. Fuck.
I mean,
how do we do it without people? Fuck.
This could be used as an argument for that.
Yeah. So tell us about that, or tell our people really, like, what's the car scene like in Dubai?
Everything. Like, I've seen,
like, the stereotype is supercars, but is that the reality?
Let me tell you. In one afternoon, in about 30 minutes, I was leaving from my friend's house to go to the Four Seasons to have some drinks. I saw 13 different Rolls Royces in 15 minutes.
What? 13.
I think I sent you a picture of the guy with 5 in front of his house.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a guy with like 5 Phantoms in front of his house.
They're all like the same color, weren't they? It was just like
the monochrome thing does happen over there.
And his
sure.
driveway was not really big enough to hold. Like, that was a weird house because I'm sure it was nice and behind the wall it's like very fancy, but the driveway just looked like a normal 2.5 bath townhouse.
Yeah.
And then there's 5 Rolls Royces in front.
They build these houses with 0 lot lines and spread the house out to every last inch. And then they have like just big rooms with all the furniture pushed against the walls and a rug in the middle. I don't get it. Like, I want space. Go the fuck away.
And they have space there, right?
No, but they build all these really big houses on top of each other, which it doesn't make sense to me.
Because someone came to Beverly Hills and was like, in Beverly Hills, they have very big houses next to each other. Do that. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, their neighbors are as close as your house is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're right there.
I remember when Chris Harris came to Los Angeles, and I took him out to the canyons in LA. And it's really weird at the very base of the canyons, or even sort of like the towns like on the far side of the mountains. It's like you're basically in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like if you live in like Valencia or Castaic or whatever, like you've decided to live outside of town, okay? But why would you live 50 miles outside of town and then live 6 feet from your neighbor? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're living in like a like development that's already most of the way outside of town. What are you doing?
Yeah,
go
weird.
1 more mile.
You don't want to be near those people, but these people you love. These are my friends.
Yeah. Chris Harris was flabbergasted why somebody would live in like a planned community with like, wall-to-wall homes 6 feet from each other, 50 miles outside L.A. He was very confused by that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I've been confused by it ever since. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. That was 5 years ago.
Well, because we've seen those ranch houses that are like up on the hill or just out in the grass. You're like, that looks really nice. And then you see like a housing development. I'm sure the houses are cheaper, but it's just like...
Or a house that's like one dope house that's like on a beautiful cliff, and you're like, wow, that's sick. It's directly above the 405 freeway. And you're like, what? Yeah. Why there?
Do you want a view, but you don't want to pay for a view? Here you go.
Maybe people just love traffic. Thad has an airport view in Dubai.
What?
Not right now.
No?
I have the Burj Khalifa view when it's not sandstormy and clear.
Oh, that's cool.
Is it sandstormy right now?
It was the past 2 days. Today was all right, but
when it is it like it gets kind of hazy and you just can't see or is this like the big sandstorms where it looks like everything is ending?
It's not like the Mummy.
And the rock,
like
exactly.
Mummy.
Okay.
No, it's like it'll like kind of blow in. It'll be really windy. You get no visibility. Like there's just sand in the air, and it fucks up your lungs. It's terrible. And usually the day after, it's nice and clear and pretty, but it depends. It depends.
So, I mean, there's plenty of people with plenty of money in Dubai, and they can buy supercars and they can buy all that stuff. But what about? So I'm looking at like this post about the Dubai high school scene, and I'm seeing which Nissan is it with like the 4-liter RB engine? Are there a lot of like creative modified cars there because you can get some weird stuff and people have money, or does everyone just go for like what's at a dealership, what's fancy and fast?
Both, actually. That's not the good answer. Like if you go to, I think it's carculture.ae. That's like the best website for all the cool tuner cars in the area. My friend Alex just got an NSX and he put all the fucking Ricer stuff on it. It's straight piped, but we're in quarantine right now. I've been wanting to drive this thing for like 2 weeks, but he waited 10 years to get his dream car. Yeah, this is it, Car Culture. So they do a lot of lowered bag stuff, and there's some cool stuff. There's some shit, but these are the preeminent guys to find what's going on down here at the time. Like they just did a big car show called Made, so lots of lowered slam stuff and some hot boy stuff.
Cool.
So there's this kind of thing, and like I'm sure you've seen the Aston Martin with like the LS swap.
I haven't.
The drift car, right?
Oh, the drift car, yeah.
Yeah, I love that
car.
thing.
Yeah. Actually, is it a Vantage?
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of an interesting idea.
I'll find it. It looks
a Vantage drift
sick.
car might be pretty rad, actually. I mean, it's like roughly the footprint of like a 370Z, right? It's got good balance.
The Vantages here are so cheap.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap here too. But I mean, what I do find kind of interesting about Dubai is at least my impression of it is there's not a lot of nostalgia, for anything. Nobody really buys the car they dreamt about in high school. It's either kind of the newest thing or it's pretty crazily modified, or it's like the nicest thing you can afford, but it's not like they don't have ironic cool, you know what I mean? You're not going to see but they did have some pretty crazy shit over there, don't get me wrong. I mean, but it's some of the stuff that, like, Thad, remember like those sort of like lesser pre-merger AMGs that you were sending me from Dubizzle like 2 years ago, like the C or E34 or whatever, CE34, like the coupe.
There's like a C43s that pop up.
It was like
the boxy one.
Yeah, like those are crazy cheap. There's just no nostalgia for those, right? It's either like super classic icon or brand new.
Well, I went and this year has fucked my plan. But I went and test drove a Ferrari 360.
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah, man.
Loved it. I think I sent Zach a picture.
He did. It was so nice.
Cars like that don't get any love right now. It's like $48,000.
Oh, really?
And any 360 in the States right now is 60. Like, nobody gives a shit about these
in fairness,
cars
we have fucking Carfax here. The average quality of a used Ferrari in Dubai is definitely worse than the average quality of a used Ferrari here.
It was owned by a Swiss guy its entire time. It would have been the second or third owner.
Oh. I mean, look, $48,000 for a 360 is not bad.
It's amazing.
It's not bad at all.
Are you kidding? It's incredible.
I drove it, and it was like, this is great. The clutch F1 thing is like, it is what it is, but it wasn't terrible. I think it's still for sale. I think it's listed at 195,000 dirhams, which is like 50 grand.
And how many kilometers were on it?
60,000 kilometers, or
that's not terrible. No, that's okay.
It was nice looking.
And it just had a recent service and all that stuff.
We're gonna have on Friday, Rob Ferretti is gonna be on the show, and he's been through. Fuck me. I mean, not even including the rental company. I'm just talking about personally. He's been through at least 3 360 Spiders, maybe 4. At this point, he literally buys them for like $50,000 with miles, 30, 40, 50,000 mile cars, F1 cars, buys them with miles, puts a new set of tires, does a service, and puts 5,000 to 10,000 miles on it over the course of a year, and then sells it for exactly what he paid for it, and it costs him $5,000 to own a 360 for a year. I mean, that the math,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you're buying a used car, especially a used Ferrari or a used exotic of any kind, it's math in, math out, right? It's both ends of it. And so, if you have $50,000 or $60,000 plus some left over for emergency, or if you have really good credit. Like, I think Rob has very good credit, so he goes through PenFed or one of these guys, and he has decided that he can make more interest on his money. And then take out a lower interest loan. Costs him 1.9% to borrow the money, but he earns 4% on the interest or whatever it is. And then he nets out. It's like, couple grand, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to drive a Ferrari for a year or two. Yeah, it's not much
for the amount of money you'd put out to drive an Optima.
The amount of money you'd put out to drive anything.
Yeah,
anything. I mean, unless you're talking about like a perfect $0 maintenance car, your M3.
Oh, totally.
It's but dude, Thad, if I were you, 360 is not a bad way to spend your time over there. It was a coupe or Spider?
This year's kind of fucked things a little bit, so I don't think it's the most fiscally responsible decision to buy a Ferrari for my birthday. We'll give it another year. But like a 360, I think is way prettier than a 430, and I think it'll age much better if you look at it for keeping it for 10 years or whatever. Then I think it's not a problem to buy it at the bottom of Uncool Valley.
I agree. It's reaching minimum cool right about now. Pretty soon they're going to start.
And the 430's not handsome.
No, they're not. And I've driven all of them, and they are definitely faster than the 360s, but I don't really think they're much more fun. They don't sound as nice. The performance differences to me are not. I'd rather have a 360 with a really nice exhaust and a set of challenge wheels and grills than a 430, personally.
Yeah, concur.
I've been eyeing 328s, though.
They're so expensive now.
328s? No.
Yeah, dude.
They're in the 40s and 50s.
Not cheap. You'd be surprised, man. I should probably not tell everybody. But there's a German classified thing that covers most of Europe. That's the best to see all of it. The 328s are not cheap. They're $65,000-$70,000.
Well,
not a $60,000 driving experience.
I think it's probably a $60,000 ownership experience. I mean, I don't know if my Safari 911 lives up to the amount of money I've put into it. If you really want to talk about dollars versus driving experience, but it's still, I still fucking like it a lot.
That's a good point. The ownership experience versus driving experience for value. That's an interesting two different like metrics, kind of.
Is a Safari 911 on the road a $120,000 driving experience? No, not really. No, but it is a $120,000 ownership experience because it works, it's comfortable, it's usable, it gets reactions from people, but without being overtly douchey.
It can go lots of places.
Yeah.
And in the dirt, it's a very exciting driving experience.
Yeah,
it's still not. I mean, for 100, you can buy a used rally car for $20,000, and it'll probably be faster. Maybe not as durable because it doesn't have the lift on it, but you add all those things together. I never noticed on the 430 it has this weird hump, like the air intake over the
top mount intake.
Yeah, it's like it's compared to the 360, which is much more proportional and smoother, and like the headlight size looks better compared to everything else. I never noticed
it's feminine.
Yeah, 360s are much prettier cars than the 430s. Although a 430 with a manual gearbox fucking rules. That's a Michael Fuchs car right there.
It's like they added the intake aftermarket almost. It's just like it stands out quite a bit from the rear fender. I never noticed that.
Minimum 430 is pretty cheap though too. I mean, bottom of the market on a 430 is like in the $80,000. They're pretty cheap. Pretty cheap is obviously a very relative term, folks. I'm not trying to be super snobby about it. I'm talking about a car that was almost $300,000 new.
Yeah, and for what it is, and for the performance and everything else.
$54,000 all day long in Dubai for a 430. All day.
So do you think
that's very, very, very cheap?
That's super cheap. It makes you go like, oh fuck, $54,000. The average price of a new car is $38,000.
I mean, and very, very cheap, especially because if it's got. They go through clutches, those things, if you don't know what they're doing. So if it needs a clutch, that's 10. But and they crack headers. So besides that, they're actually quite robust and reliable.
Do you think that supercar prices are a little bit less in Dubai, for a comparable car here because of the amount of money people have there, and they treat them a little more like they're disposable? Or do you think
big time.
Is it the environment of like sand and heat and stuff also damages them, or both, or which?
I think it depends on like who has it. Like there's a lot of people that just get the new thing and get the new thing and get the new thing, and you have to sell things cheaper because you may not have a big enough market. But a lot of cars recently have been going back out to Europe, like. What is it? An FF was $60,000 or $55,000.
Wow, that's really cheap.
Wow,
that's real cheap.
It's like, oof.
I mean, a lot of cars get exported from here and Europe to the Middle East. You can buy U.S. spec cars and European spec cars in the Middle East. They don't really care. They don't have, at least that. Maybe you can correct me if I think they don't have the same type of Carfax-like service that we have here, and so there's more cars, and the prices are lower, but sometimes the histories are a little more questionable.
Yeah, you definitely have to do your due diligence on finding a clean car, and that's the hardest thing, because sometimes, like, there was a CLK 63 AMG Black Series, like, parked around a corner, covered in sand, outside, unloved, for 300,000 dirhams, I think is what it sold for. But, like, why? You got this brilliant car, you're parking it in a dirt lot, fucked by the weather. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
for a price,
not really give a shit.
For price comparison for people, I just looked up for FFs, and they are about 140 to 160 on Auto Tempest versus, what did you say, $60,000?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big difference.
Go to Dubizzle and punch it in, so you can double check. This was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the hard bottom for a clean titled FF here is like 125 grand. I mean, the hard bottom
this was
for a V12 front engine Ferrari with a dual clutch.
Amazing cars.
Yeah, and with a dual clutch, it's a big distinction, because the dual clutches don't break. Like, no more clutch service. Like, if you've got a dual clutch car, like, that's gonna work. Versus, with a 430 or a 360, where if the first or second owner didn't know how to fucking drive it right, they could smoke the clutch.
Let's reverse up this hill. Like, that's not going to work out.
Oh, God. We're loaded on a trailer badly.
Yeah, truck drivers. Truck drivers are like truck and trailer drivers, like, can really, they can fucking destroy clutches. I think,
so divide by 3.675, and it gets you the dollar price.
Divide by 3.675.
3.675.
I mean, I go with the calculator, but
you can sort by lowest. But Matt, the thing that you have me on in my brain, because going in your Countach is the fucking coolest shit ever.
Yes, it
is. A Diablo.
Diablos are minimum right now. Now is the time. I mean, probably 6 months ago was really the time to buy a Diablo, but you can still get into a Diablo for reasonable money and get something that's pretty fucking awesome, actually. They're like, I mean, they're expensive, but like, I think you can get into a very early Diablo for still under 200 and a nice one. And that's probably a pretty good place to get in on those.
Dude, and they're so pretty.
They are.
And, like,
they
it's
have
so
aged
cool
nicely.
to get out of your fucking car and the doors go up, and it looks cool with gold wheels. It's such a cool fucking car. And,
getting out of it with the doors going up is not nearly as cool as fucking popping the doors from across the street. That's way cooler.
Oh yeah, you need the clicker.
Yeah, I got the clicker, and there's fucking people that'll be squatting in front of the car taking a picture or something, and I'll fucking pop the door from across the street. They lose their shit. Ain't nobody got that.
Best. Like,
that one.
You can't get rid of that thing. That's a forever car.
I'm not going to get rid of it. I want to keep it. I don't have a desire to get rid of it. I took it out the other day for Lamborghini exercise day, and it was 2 weeks since I drove it, and I drove it about 55 miles, and it was fantastic. It's great. No reason to do anything.
Yeah, because my mental math was, in your same Italian exercise days, I could drive to Jebel Jais, go up Jebel Jais, come back, or do the same route. We went to Oman and come back.
Yeah.
And that's like 100 miles.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Jebel Jais and back would be perfect. Yeah.
That road is shaped like a really nice road course, too.
Yeah, for those who have never heard of Jebel Jais, it's also known as the Road to Nowhere, and it's sort of outside of Dubai, I don't know, 40 miles maybe. And
it's an hour from my house to the bottom of it. They have a new road that goes straight there.
It's pretty fucking awesome. There's really no laws, and it's very wide and very, very steep and cool.
Yeah.
There's a guy. There's a thread on like Reddit the other day. Did we talk about this on the show or off the show, Zach? I think we talked about it off the show. There's a thread on Reddit the other day, and someone just asked like what people who owned V12 cars, what their fuel economy was. And so people were responding with various cars and whatever. And one guy responded and said he had a Diablo that he had put 115,000 miles on, driving from London to like the south of France and Italy and Switzerland and shit over a period of like 10 years, which sounded really boss to me.
That guy has had such a good life.
What's that say? Highest mileage Diablo I've ever seen? What's that? What's the highest mileage Diablo they've ever seen on Lambo, whatever forums that is? Have you seen have you seen anyone, Thad, over there who's got a ton of miles on one of those cars like that?
Not like that. Like the rental or the Lexus ES300 Ubers, I ask them how many miles they have on it every time I get in the car. They have like 300,000 on a car that's like not that old.
Wow.
And like whatever goes wrong, they're like, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. we just changed the oil. Like the cars run 24 hours a day. Usually 2 guys own it together. So one does a day shift for 12 hours and one does a night shift.
Damn.
Like the only time we turn it off is for maintenance and fueling. And,
wow.
And that's it.
Lexus engineers should go there and just like talk to those guys. Instead of running the Nardo ring with a team, they're just like, here's a car, Uber it for a year, and then we'll read the diagnostics later.
Well, and conversely, like they had the Model X Teslas floating around for a little while. I got in one of those, and the back window was rattling like a 1989 Honda Civic.
Yeah.
It was just like, how is this $100,000 car and it's fucked already?
Well, I mean, you know why. You know, know why the answer to that.
But it was like one of those like, oh, come on, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I mean, Teslas are not quality products that are built to last. They are techie products that are designed to wow you in the showroom right now, and Tesla doesn't give 3 fucks what that car looks like with 100,000 miles on it. Zach found the X rental Mercy with 258,000 miles on it. I bet that car runs good.
I bet the engine runs good. I bet it's got some scratches, and I bet the plastic and interior just, if they haven't restored it, it's gonna be like that faded. I don't know. Remember they used like the same kind of matte black plastic in the Gallardos and the Mercies for a while, and it just like it just looked dull, new, and then it dulled and dusted and scratched, and it just kind of, I don't know. It always looked a bit aged.
Yeah, no, they don't look great with a lot of miles on them, but I mean, it's not the worst one I've seen. The worst Mercy I've ever seen, condition wise, is for sale right now in the DuPont registry again, and it's very cheap. I think it's $75,000 or $80,000, and it's a stick.
Wow.
Is it the dead rapper Mercy, and it's another form?
No, that car is lost to the annals of time. I don't remember where the dead rapper Mercy ended up. This one, this guy in Texas who I met, it's a green car, and it has it's got like an American flag sort of paint job on the side of it with like the signatures of like thousands of highway patrol officers on it. And it's paint. It's all paint. And that would be one thing. Okay, it's got kind of an ugly paint job, but that's probably immune to speeding tickets. But like when I saw it, just like it had like 4 mismatched tires, and the exhaust was bent, and the whole everything about it was bent or broken. And so it was very cheap on it's in DuPont registry right now, but it looked like it was like as bad as like. Not quite as bad as Freddy's movie Mercy, but it was close. I mean, it was janky.
Jeez.
And that's pretty much the worst one I've seen outside of Freddy's trashed Mercy, which he did fix reasonably well.
Yeah, he fixed everything.
I drove that car very briefly.
Yeah.
It was mechanically, it was still a little rough. But
really?
It was a SEMA car, and
then a movie car.
It was a movie car and then a SEMA car, so it looked really nice. It just felt a little sloppy. That was all.
I mean, I'm sure unless he did the bushings and checked all the like frame, like a movie car probably gets driven really, really hard, especially one that's doing a lot of stunts on Fast and Furious. So like all the things that are bolted together are going to jiggle loose a little bit. And then if it goes to SEMA, it doesn't have to drive at all. Right. So they're not replacing any bushings unless they're selling them. So that's just...
No, it was fine. It drove. It was all right. It just felt a little on the tired side. You know.
I was driving behind go ahead, Thad.
Oh, sorry. I do love Freddie's channel, though. Like, when we met him however many years ago, and, like, he came in, we interviewed him, and the thing was like, all right, it's a cool dude. But, like, the past couple of years, he's been making some really awesome stuff.
He made some really smart choices. He was like,
I've been watching.
He was like, these Pimp My Ride cars did well on TV 10 years ago. Let me re-pimp the same cars on the internet. It's genius.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't wrench on a fucking car, but I like watching him do it and like do whatever he's doing. I think it's nice. because there's nothing really good on TV anymore.
I can't. I don't really watch his show, but I'm happy that he's doing a thing that has gotten him so successful. And I like talking to him about it. It's like everyone else. I don't watch anybody's show, but I text back and forth with them. We talk about what they're doing
because that's a lot faster.
Yeah,
it's a lot faster.
Yeah. Thad, what about what's going on in the fucking dunes out there? What are people doing in their dune builds?
They're just crazy. Like, it's all about the Nissan Patrol. The Nissan Patrol is the one.
Why is that the one?
It's basically an inline six with a cast iron block, and you can put like 50 pounds of boost through it.
Jeez, those are the RB 30s and 40s, right?
Yeah. I rode in a 1,000+ horsepower one at the racetrack in a standing mile thing.
Oh my God!
What did it do in the mile?
It's not okay. It's not okay to go that fast that high up. It gets like a big lifty feeling.
Yeah.
Well, that's because all the air is running into the windshield and then just pushing the front, the whole thing, like tilting the whole thing back. Do
you remember the mile number?
The model number?
No, the mile number. You said you did a standing mile. What was the number?
Fast. I think it wasn't like a full mile, but I think we hit like 260, 270 kilometers.
Oh my God, that's really fast. Yeah, it's like 160 miles an hour.
What year are the?
It's on the front straight of the Dubai Autodrome. Like they do like a roll racing night for things. So there's like Faisal took his P1 LM out there, which is the coolest fucking car. It's the coolest shit ever. If you go to his Instagram, you could probably see it, Zach.
What year of Patrol are people mostly modifying? Are they like these more boxy ones, or like what years were the big 4-liter RBs?
Show me.
It's like late 90s, right?
Like
it's
I'm
98 to 02, like the same time the R34 Skyline was being made.
Like, yeah, kind of. Zach, move your cursor up. Yeah, like that body style.
The boxy one.
Yeah, the boxy guy.
The Y60 or whatever. And they hold their residual value really well here because there's they take a lot of shit kicking. They're solid rear axle, front and rear. You put on like some Coney shocks, and you can just beat the shit out of them. But every time I've gone off-roading recently with people, we've gone over like 4 dunes and it got stuck. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well, you just need. Oh my God.
This. It's just like I don't want to dig myself out every time. So that kind of ruined it for me. It's like you're good and you got stuck.
Look at that fucking turbo he just pulled up, dude. What the fuck?
This is a picture of a Patrol that has like no front body work. It's got a huge intercooler, and then the turbo looks like 100 millimeters, but it's not. It's mounted a foot above where the hood would be. And then the exhaust and wastegate pipes go off at a 45-degree angle to like the driver's left. Just straight out. This is just pure speed. Oh my God. Look at all the stuff that's above the hood line. There's like an oil catch can. They just bolted stuff anywhere.
Well, this is probably for Liwa Dune Festival, which happens over like New Year's Eve and Christmas, where I'm off being a degenerate, eating and drinking and other things. So they do this in this giant fucking dune out like an hour outside of Abu Dhabi. It's called Liwa, Liwa. And these guys is where everybody shows up. It's like a week party of off-road dune madness. Like they do all the racing at night during the daytime.
So it's like a Glamis. It's like what they do in Glamis here. Yeah.
It's fucking huge.
Wow, that dune is very tall.
Dude, I went down there in the summer to do scouting for a Range Rover thing we were doing, and it's so fucking big. And coming down of it's terrifying.
Wait, so you drive up to the dune and then you drive up it and then down it? Is that the thing?
No, the race is up, but we were out scouting to see if the new Discovery Sport, the one with the asymmetrical tail, could go up. I'm like, it can't go up. Like, I don't know why I'm wasting my full day to go with your drivers. Like, I know it can't go up. They're like, the other marketing team we're working with, like, it can go up. It's a Land Rover. Like, it's not going to fucking go up. So we went there, couldn't go up. But coming down this is also the hottest place I've ever been. I think we went in July, and I saw 54 Celsius on the clock.
Oh my God, that's really hot. How far up this giant hill did you get in the Discovery Sport?
Go back to that picture.
This dune looks like it's got to be easily 100 feet tall.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's way bigger than that.
It's
way bigger.
This is hundreds and hundreds.
It's probably halfway the distance between the dune car and the white car. So about half. And then the pictures don't show how big and steep it is.
Are they doing timed hill climb for this kind of stuff? Or is it just people go out with whatever they have and everyone just has a good time and tries to make it up? Or are there organized races and competitions of some kind?
Well, first, asking about what cars they mod. Look at all the cars in the foreground at what people are watching.
Yeah, a lot of Mitsubishis, a lot of
patrols and Land Cruisers.
They're all patrols.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I think they do a time race up the hill. I think is how they do it.
And then do what? Do they make a U-turn and drive straight back down it?
Yeah, I think they just flip a bitch. They go through their trap lights and then just come back down.
Wow.
So cool.
And they build some of these cars with an engine built at an angle in the chassis to compensate for the hill.
Right.
So there's no oil starvation.
Oh,
no way.
Wow. Oh, so they cantilever their engine kind of?
Yeah. So
Weird.
It's not level in the car like it should be.
Whoa.
So they build it in funky ways.
That's really clever.
Very strange.
Does the drive shaft then have some kind of U-joint, like a boat, so that it?
No, they just change the whole they'll tilt the engine and then adjust everything for the engine.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this hill, and you're going to need more than 3 degrees of engine tilt to prevent it from oil starvation, aren't you?
A little bit helps more than going 35 degrees vertical. You know what I mean? Another cant in it.
Gotcha.
Helps.
Wow. Yeah. This is serious. Has anyone brought?
That's probably why that dude's oil reservoir in that image was so high up. I bet because it has to be maybe above the engine, even if the whole vehicle is tilted up.
Oh, maybe.
I know nothing about how that works, but that's a possibility.
I don't know why the guys haven't heard of dry sump, which I think would solve all of these fucking problems.
Just get an LS7, right?
Yeah, well, you could just dry sump any of this shit. But whatever.
Does anyone run, the Iceland hill climb cars? Does anyone bring that stuff out? V8 weighs 1,000 pounds with paddle tires all over the place?
I haven't seen much of those, what do they call it?
Buckshots? Yeah. Oh, those too. Is it just so hot and sunny that they don't fuck with the buggies? People want something they can be inside of?
Dude, it's really nice out right now. It's pleasant, but
in the
summer,
in general, you're talking about dunes. You said that was the hottest place you've ever been.
Yeah, but it was also June or July. I forget when I went. It was in the middle of fucking summer.
But I think he's saying are sand rails not as popular there as they are here at Pismo or Glamis because it's so hot. People want an enclosed car with AC.
Dude, they're all over. They're all over. They're always for sale. The Polaris Razors.
Oh, okay.
Moddage. People love. Well, the strangest thing I think here for me is a lot of local people just go to the side of the highway, drive up the little dune next to the highway, and have a picnic next to the fucking highway. that I don't get that. If you have the ability to go into the middle of nowhere, you clearly made it up the steepest part. Just go another 2 dunes in and have some privacy.
I guess
not next to basically the 405. It doesn't make sense.
That's very funny. But I've had the urge to just turn off the highway before. In fact, when I had the Raptor, I think Thad, you and I did that once.
We saw the traffic backing up on our way to Vegas.
We're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
I was in the back seat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for SEMA.
For
SEMA.
Yeah, just turned off the highway and straight into the dirt.
We were on the highway for a while, or on the dirt for a while, and we ended up punching out at a Chevron at what's the
Prim or something
Prim.
or Gene.
Right,
yeah,
Prim.
We were on the highway. We were on the dirt for 25 or 30 miles, but it was really awesome.
It's so great.
It was only a couple hundred yards from the highway too, so you could see the traffic and just be going by it. It was fucking great.
We were rooster tailing. All these people were stuck.
I'm waiting for that to happen when I'm driving the Porsche. I'm really waiting to have that amount of usefulness.
Have the excuse. You're all right.
Porsche update. Shout out to the guys at Thule because they're sending vintage style rails, the cargo basket for our Safari Rally, assuming it happens. The go-no-go date for the Safari Rally is May 1st, so I hope it happens. They're sending Zach and I weatherproof duffel bags so we can mount those in the basket, and they're sending the ski attachments for winter.
Sick.
Which is awesome.
Are they suction cup attachment?
No, it goes on the rails.
It goes on
the rails.
Duh.
Yeah. But they offered to send the tent, the sleeper tent.
What?
And I was like, dude, that's very, very nice of you, but Jews don't camp. And I'm not going to let you send me this probably very expensive tent that I will never, ever use.
That's very good of you.
It takes up a lot of space.
But also, like, sorry, what's the shop that they put the rooftop tent on their Safari?
Kelly Moss.
Yeah. Did they have to reinforce the roof or the cage or anything?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just jamming.
Really?
No reinforcing.
No reinforcing. It's steel. The body's steel. The rails are steel. It's in theory.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's probably a weight limit. I think it's probably like, a couple 100 pounds or something. But yeah. Didn't Kelly Moss put a car on top of that car? Pretty sure they put a car on top of that car. Remember that? I think that was Kelly Moss, right? Dad, do you remember that picture?
No, I remember because
people were asking if it was
Momo dudes.
No, this guy's.
Yeah, they did.
People were asked. Was that who it was? Was it Momo? No, it was this
Kelly Moss.
People were asking how much weight the thing would hold, and so they fucking forklifted a GT3 on top of the rack like a boss. Get the fuck out of here! That's so gangster.
Fuck off. That's great.
Yeah. So
There you go. Holy crap!
Isn't that cool? What
Wow.
a fucking great picture that is, isn't it? What we are looking at is a cup car sitting on top of a Safari 911 on the roof.
Literally sitting on top, level, incredibly. Wow. So they just put supports, not supports. They just whatever they put on top of the roof rack.
It's the
and
thing
they
that
put
holds the
car on
tent.
top of it.
It's the base for the tent.
It's
just sitting on the base for the tent. Yeah.
Okay, your
It
roof
works.
is very
You'd be all
strong.
right.
Your roof is incredibly strong.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah. And Kelly Moss's car is a little different from mine, but they didn't change the roof or anything. That's how it comes. It's pretty cool, huh?
Well, so someone on Instagram posted watching All Cars Go to Heaven again. So I reposted it, and then they asked me like, "Are we going to do another one?" And I know we had a chat via email privately, but I think now that the world's ending, if we get a chance,
now that we have nothing else to do. No, it's just, the honest answer is it takes a lot of money. And I'm saying don't have the
viewers,
money.
We're just going, just us.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take any money at all to just do it. It's all about the making of the movie.
we have all the camping gear. Well, most of it we had to give a lot away on All Cars 1, but yeah, we could just do it.
Yeah, no, the unfortunate truth of that trip is that the making of the movie is annoying and costs money, but the going of the trip, that was the lesson. We could just go and not create any media, and it would be even more fun.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it would be relaxing.
Yeah,
it'd be relaxing, fun, or terrifying, depending on what's happening, but not like the stress of did we get the shot?
Yeah.
How many cameras do we need? Do we need a moment here? How's this going to stitch in the story? Like you got to think of all that stuff.
And also, it's. I've said this before, but when we made the first one, it was like, okay, we just need to come up with the amount of out-of-pocket expenses it takes to make this. The second one, it was like, okay, we need to come up with the out-of-pocket expenses, but we also need to come up with some money because each of us has to put in several weeks of our time, and we need to pay for that. Now we need to not only come up with the opportunity cost of us not working and doing our normal jobs and come up with the expense of making it. But also, I don't want to have the four of us be cameraman and crew. That sucks. I don't want to do that. And so if we're going to do it again, we need to come up with a budget that will allow for an actual film crew, which is very expensive, as you well fucking know.
Remember the pilot we did with a film crew?
Ugh,
that was funny.
Piece of shit.
When I flew over there, when he had the G63.
Forgot about that. Yeah,
I'm just saying, let's go to fucking Zach. Where did I send you the links to the self-drive safaris? On the
what, in South Africa or something? Like Kruger?
Namibia. It was like 14 days, $1,200. You get your own car. the flight from Dubai to down there is cheap. We just got to get you guys here.
I'm glad your flight is cheap. What do you think LAX to Namibia is?
Notice he left out the flight from here to Dubai.
No, like there's deals from LAX, and this coming.
So
year,
what's the point? Are you saying we should buy some shitbox patrol and do this in a shitbox patrol?
No. This is like a company that
they got cars for us.
Yeah, you pay them, they provide you an off-road vehicle, and you just do the trip.
That sounds fantastic. I would definitely do that. I would 100% do a trip like that. That seems great.
Board, it's fucking great.
Yeah, let's bookmark that. I could probably honestly, I could probably convince Land Rover or someone to send us a truck there if we were going to do that.
I think
that'd be
feasible.
Real cool.
I know the guy that runs Land Rover Middle East and Africa marketing.
Really? That's the guy we need.
A new Defender.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do for sure. But I think
that's what I'm talking about.
We have to wait. But that sounds very good. That and we're doing
really
more of the yachts.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous about your fucking yachts.
We missed you on this one.
I didn't listen to the episode because I was going to ask you about it, but then the world's ending.
Well, someone asked earlier, we actually have a lot of questions, but someone said now that Thad's on, we should tell the boat story from our first trip.
Oh, yeah.
Have we not told that story?
Never on the show. We've alluded to it. We've never actually told it.
Do we not? We can also not tell it.
I have no problem telling it. We've successfully completed a charter since then, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, all right. There are too many super chat questions, folks, for us to get to all of them today.
I told him to stop a while ago.
You want to tell that story? I'll tell it. Thad, feel free to jump in wherever you like. So we chartered a yacht in Thailand 2 years ago, and we had successfully gotten through like 5 days or so of our charter, and we arrived at a place called Koh Phi Phi Don, which is like the party island in Thailand. It's basically like St. Thomas if you're a Russian, pretty much. But it was ravaged by a tsunami a few years ago, but there's all these clubs and bars on the beach, and it's a mixture of Thai people and Eastern European tourists who basically treat this place like they're Caribbean.
And backpackers.
Backpackers. Like 22-year-olds that are, sleeping somewhere for $5 a night.
Right. So we have this 50-foot catamaran and in this charter, and we are given this instruction manual basically of everything you need to know to take this boat from place to place. When you arrive at Koh Phi Phi Don Harbor, you will anchor here in 10 meters of water. Do not anchor here or here or here, etc. Right? And the bottom line is, if you follow the instructions and put your ego aside, everything will be fine. If you think, stranger to this strange land, that you are smarter than the book written by people who have been there, boy, are you going to have a fucked time. And so, Zach's got the map there. That's perfect. So Koh Phi Phi Don.
I thought we metered in the appropriate area, though, didn't we?
Not exactly. We were supposed to anchor, and if Zach zooms in on Koh Phi Phi Don, and you switch to the satellite view, as you can see, there's a northern harbor and there's a southern harbor, and then there's sort of this land bridge in the middle. The land bridge is where
southern.
So we anchored in the southern harbor, and the land bridge is where all the civilization is, and the beach bars are on the northern beach. So in order to make our dinghy drive shorter, we got a little closer in than the book told us to, and consequently we had to use a little less anchor chain, a little bit of a shorter chain.
We chose to
not swing into other boats.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so, okay, we go to shore, we start drinking, we start partying, we are continuing to party from 7 p.m. until 2 or 3 a.m. At 2 or 3 a.m. Yeah, Thad?
Are you going to talk about the storm in the middle of it?
That's what happened at 2 or 3 a.m. At 2 or 3 a.m., there is a giant windstorm. Crazy windstorm. It's blowing hard. We're wasted and on the beach and going, this fucking windstorm rules! Party, Thailand! red, go Vivi Don.
Well, and then the tide goes out. Like, we're walking on the beach, and the tide goes out like 100 feet, and everyone walks out onto the tide. And I did it too. I was like, whoa, look at this. Like, it's all muddy. This is normally water. This is amazing.
Right.
Look how far away from, like, all the lights and the buildings I am. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. And this is on the North Harbor. You cannot see to the South Harbor. You just can't from where we are. So eventually it's like 4 a.m. We're trashed. And we are now going back to the boat. We find our dinghy on the beach and on the South Harbor. We get in the dinghy. And as we begin to motor back to the boat, the dinghy engine
motor didn't work.
dies. Yeah, the dinghy engine dies. I don't know why. It was never fixed.
I remember the gas tank flipping upside down for some reason. And I think we had to stop and like pump it, and then the engine died. I don't know if it got like air in the line or something, but it stopped. It stopped working, and we had we were at the far end of the mooring anchor harbor, like farthest away from the beach.
Yeah. So we had a long paddle. We had these shitty oars, they're really for emergencies, and we had to paddle. So we fucking paddled to where our boat was anchored, and it's gone. It's totally gone. The boat is gone.
And we kept going. That's a little further. No. It's just past this boat. It's just past, and then there were no more boats to go past.
And it was totally gone. And we were fucked up, but I'm probably the least fucked up and the most worried of everybody. And I decide that our boat that we anchored in the wrong place has been towed by some authority. We paddle the dinghy back to fucking shore. With our whole boat gone at 4:30 in the morning. And obviously everything is on our boat. Like, other than our wallet and what we're wearing, we've got nothing else. It's all on the boat. And so we're paddling and I'm panicking and we're thinking about what we're going to do. So we get to the shore and we try to find a police station, which we do find. And Zach, you want to pull that map up again? The police station is going to be on the right side of the land bridge, sort of over there. Yeah, on the right.
Yeah, near the pier.
Yeah, near the pier on the right. Now, okay, we find there's one cop in the police station. He speaks no English. I attempt to describe to him what has happened, and he has fucking no idea what's going on.
Well, I started using Google Translate because I was the only one of all of us that had a cell phone that still had a battery, and I think I still had 13%. So it was like, there's never been a time where I should learn to be concise more quickly. It was like, choose your words wisely.
My luxury yacht, Catamaran, is
gone.
Seemingly gone missing.
Well, I remember approaching the cop with the mindset of, where did the police tow my boat to? Not necessarily. The mindset was we were towed. The cop has.
We thought it was taken for a political reason.
No. We thought we anchored too close to locals' boats, and so they towed it. That's what we thought.
Yeah, we said.
Exactly.
I asked, we asked, do you have a Coast Guard that tows boats? And he read it, and he just shook his head. He's like, his eyes were like, I'm the only cop. There's 2 on the island. The other one's asleep, and it's 4 a.m. What the fuck? What do you think we are?
So we get no help from this cop. But no. I believe it was me, walk out on the front porch of the police station, and I can see out into the harbor that if I look outside the harbor, further outside the harbor, there is a speck of light. Let's take a step back. You are not allowed to sail at night in Thailand. It's illegal. After dark, it's illegal. Oh, that's a great 3D view, Zach. I like this. Okay. So you're not allowed to sail. So a light being on offshore would be incredibly unusual. Asterisk number 2. Before we left the boat to go party and get fucked up, I do recall saying, let's leave every light on the boat on. That way people will think we're home and they won't maybe rob us. So correct. That was a smart thought. From the police station, I can look across the mouth of the harbor, out of the mouth of the harbor, into the open ocean, and see a speck of light. and almost immediately realize where our boat has gone. Zach and I grab the cop, point at the boat out in the harbor, and say, "That's our boat. Help." He puts us, I believe, on his motorcycle. There's a motorcycle with like a sidecar or
I think
something.
he took you and Tom because you guys went and
he took me and Tom to
then me and Zach paddled out.
No, you're jumping ahead. Thad, you and I went back to the dinghy. We were on timeout because I think we were the most fucked up. So it was kind of like, okay, Thad and Zach.
We were on timeout.
It was like, go guard the dinghy. And so we lay on the dinghy and then got bit by sand fleas. And then you and Tom went to a pier.
We found some drunk fishermen who were sitting there just pounding liquor on this pier. And I took out all the money I had. I don't remember how much it was. I think it seemed like a lot, but it wasn't really
like
a lot. It was like 30,000 baht or whatever it was, but I think it was like $100. I pointed at the light and I said, "Please, here is money. Take us there." The guy looked at me like I was such a shithead, but then did it. So, and here's where it gets real crazy. So we get halfway there, roughly about to where our boat should have been and wasn't, and this guy's fucking shit pile boat runs out of gas. The boat, we're miles from where the boat is, but we can see it. So random. This is where being nice to somebody helped us. Somewhere along the way, one of us was nice to another person, and they sent a message back. "Thank you for being nice." Another dinghy came by. It's fucking 4:30 in the morning. We are floating in a black harbor. Black. Another dinghy comes by. And they speak English. Perfect. "Oh my God, please help us. Our boat is out there. We're fucking retarded. All this is going on. Can we please have some gas?" They've got a red Solo cup. They pour gas from their can into the red Solo cup, which these fucking Thai fishermen then pour into the top of their outboard. And it's just enough gas for us to get this shit pile to the boat, which is our boat. We help the Thai fishermen help us navigate the boat back into the harbor in pitch fucking black.
Now, at this time, Thad and I are on the beach, and we're just watching this one light far away from all the others. It's like watching a star, and it starts to move.
Yeah.
And we go, "I think it worked." And we get in the dinghy and start our long paddle back to our general parking area.
Yeah. And so we didn't want to try and anchor again. And so these fishermen, we gave them some more money, and they rafted us up against their boat. Which means you tie the two boats together, and we spent the night incredibly embarrassed, rafted up to these fishermen's boat. But we fucking straight up, the boat came off anchor in the windstorm and literally went out to sea.
Yeah.
and if we didn't go to the police station, we wouldn't have had the viewing angle to see it, because from the shore where the fishermen were, like the way the boats were moving around in the wind, like actually when we went to where the boat should have been and we couldn't see it, we were actually blocked by another boat from being able to see it. Like it seemed impossible that the boat would have come off anchor and then also not hit anything else drifting out. And then the other boats moved back over to totally block our view at the very moment we needed to see that. Like, we could have probably kept paddling and gotten it.
Probably.
And gotten it and figured it out on our own.
But there was so much light around us. Like, we had to be somewhere where you looked out, and because it was the one light in a sea of darkness, not among the other thing. And people, picture yourself, if you're looking out toward the ocean, if the boat went to the left and got snagged on like a reef. If it had gone to the right, a tenth the distance it went left, it would have run into a cliff.
Yeah.
And then sank.
Rocks and mountains, and it would have been a huge, huge problem.
Very fucking expensive.
It didn't hit anything. No one ever found out about it. Nothing ever happened.
We had one little bit of damage from being tied up to the people, and I think that was...
There was a little scuff from being rafted, which I did end up paying for. and it wasn't expensive. It was a couple $100 the scuff on the boat. But fuck me, dude. I mean, we came minutes from absolutely losing a yacht in the middle of the fucking Ao Chalong Bay in Thailand with nothing, with no phones and no money and nothing. Fucking hell.
We bumped into a guy outside a bar, and he was like American. We're like, oh, what's this place about? And he had lost his passport at some point when he had gone partying on this island weeks ago, and he was waiting for someone to mail him a new passport. And in the time, while he was waiting, he had to get a job to pay for the room he was staying in, like the hostel. So he was working as a bar barker, trying to bring in tourists to drink at the bar. And so it was almost like, I talked to this guy. It was like foreshadowing. Like that would have been our life, because getting a new passport made and shipped to that island would have taken several weeks.
Yeah. Wow.
Fuck that.
But
we were very quiet the next day. All of us were very quiet on the boat.
All of us were really quiet, and it was a very valuable lesson. Experts wrote a manual so morons don't have moronic things happen to them, and you have to put your ego aside, and you have to listen to the people who wrote this thing to fucking help you. And in Tahiti, we were exactly on point with our navigation. We anchored exactly in safe places where we were told to anchor, and we had no drama whatsoever and no issues, and we certainly didn't lose a fucking boat.
Yep.
Woo! So there's your Thailand boat story.
So in the same vein of boat land, my friend Ewan, who I've talked about before, they're going to do a thing called the Nautical 300, which is basically gumball rally, but with boats.
With speedboats or sailboats? Speedboats.
Whatever boats. Doesn't matter boats. It's about drinking and putting young women in tiny bikinis on your boat. Doesn't matter. So that's going to probably happen in a year from now to do the launch for it. But
let's set me up with a boat. I mean, I'm happy to do some media coverage. Let's get fucking Van Dutch on this or something. Let's get someone on it.
Of course, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so for these rich guys that do gumball, like renting a boat or buying a boat isn't that big of a deal. Then they have services to get a captain for you or broker a boat.
Yeah,
like it's
much more appealing than actual gumball. I mean, a flotilla of boats going from place to place and partying. I mean, that sounds way better than supercars being assholes on the highway. Way better.
Can't get a speeding ticket.
Right. Correct.
You can't get pulled over, and you'll be in like the Bahamas.
Yeah.
When there's a famous place that's like a little atoll. I forget what it's called, but they have the route planned already. Like to get a T-shirt, you have to like jump off the plank naked. Or whatever. Like this, it's full on party, boats and hose, like Fire Festival branding.
Of course it is Fire Festival branding,
but not the fucked up part of Fire Festival.
Well, they've been doing these, they call them poker runs. They've been doing those for years, on lakes with the cigarette boats, and you go from place to place and you collect your, your poker card or whatever. But and it's not a race. It's about the poker hand you get, blah blah blah. But they're all going 100 miles an hour on the fucking lakes.
Jeez,
no,
crazy. I mean, the Havasu spring break boat party is insane. So this is just a one that moves from location to location, like Strange Form of Pirates.
I don't know if I want to do the rich guy version of that, though. I think I want to do the Havasu white trash version of it.
I would love to do Havasu.
Bud Light and boobies.
Yeah. I'd like to keep it extra classy, please. What do the people have to say?
They have a lot to say. The first one was Ask the Boat Story. Let's focus on Thaddish questions first, and then we'll save the rest if we need to for another day. Because there's a lot.
Before we get into that, when is spring break, and when can I come back to America and we can rent a pontoon boat and go to Lake Havasu?
It just happened.
I would love. So next year.
It just happened. Everyone took the opportunity to spread the coronavirus in Florida.
So for your second wedding anniversary, while we eat pork and drink the vertical of wine in your basement, Lake Havasu?
Hannah was down with the Havasu houseboat. She really was. She thought it would be funny. She was about it, and you can legit get like 100-foot houseboat. You can get enormous houseboats.
Oh my God! Spring break in Havasu starts March 1st and ends March 30th.
Yeah,
because schools are on different schedules, but damn, that's a long time.
Yeah, we can do
we're
houseboat
with jobs, and we're almost 40. We can get the best fucking houseboat.
Dude, we're the creepy guys in this one. I hate to tell you that we're the creepy ones. But that's okay. You can be creepy if you're rich enough.
Exactly.
That's the Monaco model.
It negates.
I'm gonna get some fake Richard meals for everybody out of Hong Kong, and we'll be set.
I've never seen a more openly creepy predatory relationship than the Monaco Grand Prix, where the sugar daddies were really just throwing diamonds at fucking every Russian with diamond crystal heels. What else you got, Zach? Anything?
Okay, this is what was everyone's favorite moment from All Cars Go to Heaven? I think we just answered this like 2 weeks ago, but
I think we did too.
But Thad, what was your favorite moment?
It's just fun to do the whole thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, talking to other people. I failed to mention this to other people. Like, oh yeah, we did like all of Utah off-road with a Model T and a Previa and a shitbox, and we drove all of Washington off-road. Like, nobody does that, and it's really cool to see see America in that way, because it's fucking unbelievably gorgeous, and there's nobody there, and that's the whole thing is the special bit, I think, not just a specific thing. It's like, yeah, all of Washington off-road done, all of Utah done. Like, if I lived in the States again, I would try to do one of those every season, because it's awesome. I would buy a Raptor just for that.
They just finished the Southern California one. It goes basically from the Mexico, Arizona, California triangle, like the southeast corner of California. It goes up sort of the eastern side of California and ends at Mammoth. So that could be pretty fun.
Dude, I'm in. Yeah. I sent Zach the thing for the off-road expedition people, where you do like the Polaris Razor thing all through Baja. Like,
to me, like, the shitbox aspect of it is fun for the video, but the parts that I enjoyed the most really didn't have to do with the car. I mean, I really enjoyed the trail. I enjoyed the sights and just how remote we were and the viewpoints we could get from certain places. I know that's probably not what they want to hear, but that's really the takeaway from it. I'd be more than happy to just drive those trails in a modern truck and not have to worry about getting stranded out there, and still get the experience of seeing the vistas and traveling that kind of distance, off pavement. I think it was great.
Yeah, me too. I feel like the same way. I don't want to. The shitbox is kind of fun and silly, but I don't want to have to worry about like not making up the hill. I want to put on the diff lockers, go up the fucking thing, and then like pick my perfect camping view spot. Like, remember in Washington, we were at that giant overlook that just kind of dropped down.
Yeah, it was the
we
best.
Had a great fire. We had like great beer that night and good food. Like, and hanging out with my buddies. That's the fucking best shit ever.
Yeah, I like off-roading like that, as far as like, look at this place I can get to, and not look how big this rock is that I climbed over.
I like the shitbox aspect just because, you can drive like. Yeah, you can hoon a bit. I think that's really, really fun. I think, I was going to say I would bring the shit box and you guys could bring the real cars, but then I'm the person holding the group up if we can't get over the big rock. But I agree. I don't like rock crawling over really gnarly stuff very slowly is not for me. It's more about being in the place, crossing that much distance, being with your friends. Like that's the jam.
Yeah. I'll take a 300-mile fire road over a 10-mile boulder.
Oh yeah,
any day. Any day.
Oh, big time. Yeah, I want to just cruise in the middle of nowhere.
The Previa was a shockingly good choice. The Previa turned out way better.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, the Delica would do really well for that.
Oh, of course, it would just be slower.
Yeah,
but it would.
I can't believe
go
any
further.
of those things actually made it. let alone the Model T made it 600 out of 800 miles, and they could have fixed it in retrospect.
Yeah, I mean the Model Ts they're shockingly good off road. I mean that's what they're for. Fucking, I was supposed to go down CNC Bothwell last week because Persang has a Ferrari Testarossa, like a 50s Ferrari Testarossa that I was going to have a go in, and then fucking coronavirus postponed that one. Yep.
Oh, fuck this coronavirus bullshit.
It'll be around, Bothwell's got it. Not the virus, the car.
License and Registration Show asked what our thoughts are on racetrack neighborhoods like Thermal Club. One-off success or a growing trend. I wanted to branch that into what is does this exist in Dubai, Thad, or is there just one F1 track?
I can hear the GT3 cars from my apartment.
But are there
there's a town here called Motor City, and the track is right fucking there. I don't think anyone would care if you drove your race car to the track.
So, but is Motor City a regular neighborhood?
Yeah, it's a regular neighborhood.
Just happens to be next to the track. Look at that. Yeah, it really is.
And people complain about the noise from the fucking
track. Get the fuck out of here. Someone lives in Motor City and has the audacity to complain about the racetrack.
Oh, they have Dubai Autodrome. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Spinnies is my grocery store that I go to.
Dude, this track looks fun.
So do they have, is there a club aspect to the Dubai Autodrome? Is there a membership situation there?
No, not like in a Thermal or a, what's the one on the middle of nowhere with the best fucking bar? Spring Mountain.
Oh, Spring Mountain, yeah.
Mountain. But they do pretty regular track days. Obviously not right now.
Yeah.
But they do lots of variations, and they, it's a pretty decent track.
I am personally a fan of the racetrack country clubs. I think there's definitely room for them. I mean, how many fucking golf courses are there all over the country?
Totally.
I mean,
yeah.
And I think Thermal is a very nice place. It's crazy expensive, and they have some rules that personally, I can't. To be a member of Thermal, you got to buy a house. So you know what I mean? You have to buy a property and build a home on it to be a member there. You can't just be a member. So that I don't personally, I'm not about that level of restriction. But other clubs like Spring Mountain, like Autobahn, like Monticello, they're certainly expensive.
Monticello.
I love Monticello, and they're certainly expensive. But comparably priced to what it costs to get in a premium golf club. I mean, I think if for those of you out there that don't play golf, you would be fucking shocked at what it costs to get into a premier golf country club in America. It can be hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get in. And then, a primo country club, you wanted to get into a Wingfoot or one of those amazing courses here, it's probably $250,000 up front and then $50,000 a year. It's probably that low. So the racetrack country clubs are in line with that. And if your activity is racing and not golf, fuck it. Let's do it.
Totally.
Well, I wish what they would do here would have the membership and do 2-hour open track, certain days of the week. Everything's a full booked day.
Yeah.
But the unique thing here is that you can do track nights. Because
it's lit.
So So in the summer when it gets hotter, you can wait till in the evening when it's a little bit cooler. Then you can do a track night. I've never driven a track at speed at night. Gas Marina too. They do track night.
Yeah. It's probably really fun if the circuit is lit. I drove in the 24 hours of VIR at night, and it was terrifying.
That was dark, and the headlights sucked.
Fuck that. Every corner here is fully lit. I'm shooting on 1600 ISO. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, in general, I'm pro racetrack country clubs. I think it would be nice if you built one, if you had 10 or 12 days a year that you could have, non-members come drive or whatever. But, your club, your rules. But in general, pro racetrack club.
I'm going to broadcast my idea right now to the rest of the world, but I want a chump car version of things here. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. If you get on Dubizzle and look at all of the awesome cars for under 35,000 dirhams, which is $9,000 bucks, would be an amazing race series. I just haven't found a way to flip that switch in right now because there's amazing cheap stuff out there.
Well, the question is, do people in Dubai want to race cheap cars, or do they just have enough money to go out and race expensive cars, the people who want to go racing?
Ferrari chump
like
car.
Racing.
Ferrari.
I think
Ferrari
people
lemons.
like racing shitty cars.
All right. I mean, I'm just trying to get them to come to fucking California, man. I've had to fly to the East Coast to race American endurance racing the last 2 years, and they're struggling. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but what they've told me every time when I'm like, fucking come to California, they're like, it's harder than you think because a lot of the teams are East Coast based. And so getting them to travel around the East Coast where everything is like a 5 or 6 hour drive versus, okay, this race is in California, so we need to get 100 new teams.
How many teams go to AER and like Lemons these days? I'm not.
Lemons is huge. Lemons is like 150 cars on the grid. AER has a limit of last year it was 34 cars per mile of circuit. So, at Road Atlanta, it was like 80 cars, I think. Something like
That's
that.
Still a lot of cars.
It's a lot, but once you've been in one of those Lemons races with 150 cars, 80 is nothing.
Yeah, dude, 150 cars is like, it's like a train. For
Yeah.
the first 5 hours, it feels like you're in a train until people crash, brake, whatever, and then it thins out a bit. And then even so, you're driving through rush hour traffic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's exciting though.
Well, it's perfect here. You drive through on somebody's tailgate anyway, flashing your lights and fucking blinking and undertaking people and passing on the shoulder. It's, I think it would be amazing.
It really is madness.
Yeah, the Dubai rules. Dubai rules driving is really, really where it's at.
Matt, you want to see crazy shit? You have to come to Saudi. Fuck Saudi, but the driving there is insane.
Just because there's just no rules, right?
Yeah, like one of the best times I've ever had driving was in a supercharged Raptor through Saudi. It's like high beams, bop, 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 tailgate, slam on the brake, cut people off over the shoulder, scoop people out. You can drive like you were 13 or when you were 15 and full of fucking testosterone, because now we're not 40-year-old men. Just do whatever the fuck you want. It's wild.
Didn't Zach and I once came up with the sliding scale relative of where the crazier you can get away with driving in a country is like directly related to the number of human rights violations that government commits.
Yeah.
Like,
was it Russia for a while? You could buy like the blue police light and it meant you spent enough money to get it, and then it was just like no speeding tickets, no nothing, drive however you want.
Basically.
What's crazy, like in the same vein of things, like Kenya, you're not like drinking and driving is allowed now because the police would pull over people to get bribes because the police are so corrupt.
Oh, really?
Wait, so the way around
so you can legally drink and drive now
because the
police are so corrupt. They would pull over regular people to try to get them for drinking and driving.
Oh my God. Wow, that's bad.
Kenya is fucking wild too, dude. It's a great country. I had so much fun. It's beautiful, lovely people, but that's like Nairobi is the main.
Well, it's like sometimes it feels like, and I'm not trying to be dismissive of other countries, but it feels like they are in many ways where we were in 1905. So like drinking and driving is allowed there. I bet in 1907, I don't know, someone's going to correct me, but like you could probably get away with drinking and driving, or the cop would go, how many do you have? And you'd be like, just a couple. Be like, all right, well, get home safe, Mr. Johnson. And they're doing that
like
here.
The 70s, they'd like give you a ride home.
They give you like a little, because everybody knew everybody. So we are now, we're in 2020 and we're going, okay, this is how this really shakes out. If you let people do this, you shouldn't do it, but they have to learn for themselves. It's like watching your kid shove a fork in a light socket and you're like, well,
he'll figure it out.
I
did that.
Did you?
Oh yeah. It was a key, but I stuck a key in a light socket. I got fried.
Does it hurt everything or just your hand? Or
no, but you become afraid of electricity for your entire life after that. Yeah, it goes through your whole body. It's really, really bad. It's you get fried.
Yeah, I've been shocked by a pool pump. I was standing on the tubes and I turned on the hot tub, and that's the biggest shock I've ever had in my entire life. I was like one of those full. Bah!
Yeah,
that's probably 240 volt, right?
No,
that's like a dryer.
Fuck electricity.
I totally agree.
Deal with it.
Zachary.
So now we're going into just some funny questions. Griffith Hawk said, I think the Jeep Comanche Eliminator has a great name. That said, it definitely references a genocide. Are there any other poorly judged car names?
That's so fucking funny.
This is the Armenian Jeep edition.
Right.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee Armenian. Wow, that's the Comanche Eliminator. Yeah, that does.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that does reference the genocide. What was his other unfortunately named vehicles?
Yeah, he said. I think what. Let me go back.
Is this guy a car writer? Because if not, he should be.
Yeah.
Are there any other poorly judged car names? So just poorly judged names.
I mean, I think I've said from the very beginning that the Jeep Wrangler Dragon Edition was definitely racist. I mean, it's,
it was aimed at the Chinese market, and then it was also sold here.
Yeah,
which like with all the same graphics and stuff. I don't know. And even so, if someone out there is listening and you are either Chinese or live in China, please tell us how that car was received. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah,
because it seemed like it was pandering hard.
So embarrassing.
Did I tell you about when I was in Bahrain and I drove the Lexus knockoff?
The Chinese
like
fake one?
Yes. Terrible.
I think I sent Matt pictures when I was there for filming at the F1 race.
Well, it had like an engine bay meant for a normal car, but then the engine in it was like a Briggs & Stratton leaf blower.
I forget what the name of the thing was, but it's like available at the rental car counter. It looks exactly like an RX 300, exactly on the same inside.
Can you look up the name of the Lexus? I think it's the RX 330 knockoff. I think it's like it's like the Executive or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. It's so bad.
I always have wanted to go to China or wherever and drive every one of those fucking fake knockoff. There's the X5 one and the Mini ones are like really, really sad. What's the Lexus one called? Did you have it, Zach?
I couldn't find it. It kept giving me like O2 sensor results and stuff.
Oh.
CDM Motors?
Oh, that's the dealer. No, that's the dealer.
I did find a post called The 10 Most Offensive Car Names We Could Find.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Hang on. We'll get back to that. What were you going to say, Thad?
Like, we'll talk off air a little bit, but if we want to go to Hong Kong, once all of this shit is sorted to do fun stuff, like we have a solid hookup.
Are you allowed to do fun things in Hong Kong? Of course you are. I'm kidding. Sure. Yes. All right. What are some unfortunate car names, Zach, for the previous
The Mitsubishi Evo Zero Fighter, which is named after a World War II plane that took thousands of lives and also was used in kamikaze raids.
Oh, that's the kamikaze plane. The
Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
It doesn't work out well.
To be fair, they said that in Britain, Triumph named one of its sports cars after the RAF's fighter as well.
The Spitfire.
Yeah, so
Triumph Spitfire. Named after a fighter plane, though, isn't necessarily the worst thing, but the kamikaze plane does have a grim note to it, doesn't it?
The Hudson Wasp. This is funny. In 1950s car with an American family that is...
the
at wealthy. Yeah, exactly.
You definitely have the Chevy 1500 WT, and the WT stood for work truck, but also white trash.
Oh, really?
Not all. But it's interpreted as the 1500. It's because it was like the stripper version, right? So it's like the white trash version. Yeah.
Oh, this is funny. The Mitsubishi Pajero. According to this blog, says Pajero, that means wanker in Spanish.
Really? That's
you're too close to Mexico at this point. It's a Pajero.
It's a Pajero.
Habibi. Everyone loves a Pajero here.
There's the Isuzu Giga Light Dump. The Daihatsu Scat.
That's
Scat
a good
Pack,
one. The Scat Pack, Charger Scat Pack, which I can't believe
they need to get rid of the fucking Scat Pack.
I don't know. And there's also the
anymore.
Oh fuck! What was the other one?
Speaking of
Isuzu Mysterious Utility Wizard. What?
Did you see the CDC recommendations of things not to do in the coronavirus?
Eat ass was one.
Is in a
Eat ass
is in a government statement.
Yeah,
What?
I did see that.
I did not see
they
that.
advise you don't eat ass.
Wow, someone had to write that with CDC letterhead. They're like,
and then they explain it. They say rimming, and then the description.
And then Pornhub was like, look, if you take away our job, we're not going to be happy about it. We're going to spend some lobbyist dollars against this. So the whole porn industry is like, this is a huge part of the market these days.
What else you got, Zach?
General car questions, which we can get to. So Simracing has kind of jumped up in the news because they're basically replacing like actual NASCAR races and other things with it. Thad, do you have a sim setup? Matt, I know we've talked about explain real quickly like what you have at the house.
I have an Xbox and a controller, and I've been playing it because I'm very bored and I enjoy playing video games, and I took it from here 2 days ago where it sat for 3 years unplayed.
What style of sim game do you like? Like, are you an iRacing,
No.
very serious person, or?
No, I've been playing Forza 6 and Forza Horizon 3. That's what I'm playing at home, and I'm enjoying it. I'm just fucking around, but like I don't like watching other people play video games, period. I just don't. I don't understand really why people do, but I know that people do. And so, yeah, if they're going to cancel real sports, like, okay, I get it, like virtual sports, but like I can't possibly imagine virtual sports will take over for real sports. I was thinking about this because people are like, it's just like sports where you're watching someone do better than you do something, you know what I mean? I can play basketball and Michael Jordan can play basketball, but he can play better, so I watch him, right? You're also watching someone put their body out there, whether it's physical exertion, whether it's beating someone in a race, whether it's getting hit a million times, whether it's risking your life by going 200 miles an hour inches from a wall. To me, not that I want to see anybody get hurt, but the idea that someone is putting their body on the line using a physical skill they've developed over many years that requires not just the developing of the body and the mind, but also bravery in some cases, or overcoming of fear. And so those elements are what I kind of like watching about sports, not someone turning a wheel better than someone else. So I'm not that into watching the idea of watching people sim race, even if they are pros.
Yeah, Bozy tweeted something about this the other day that was it was from a sim race, and there was a crash up front, and the car that the POV of the car dodged 3 cars and kept going, and he was like, I mean, that's cool, but try doing that in a real race when like you're at real speed and there's real danger, and your brain has to quickly think like if you target fixate on the crash that's happening, you probably gonna hit that crash. So there's a lot more elements to it.
Right. I think the thing I don't find interesting about it is that I can go do the same thing and I'm not taking any risk either. Like, it's the guy or girl who's out there taking a physical risk in the physical world is what I find appealing about these top level sports.
I have been impressed. Like, I've watched Parker Kligerman race a couple times, like on Simracing. He's a host on Proving Grounds, and he manages some teams. And at first I was like, this is okay. You manage race teams on iRacing. This is kind of weird, but the commentary is like just as good as television. Like, there are people that are almost professional level commentators now that have they're just kids that have been doing it. The racing is really tight, and it does democratize racing for people that don't have access to it a bit.
For sure.
So it's pretty cool in that regard, but I agree that watching it is not as exciting as real racing.
Yeah, but I agree with Matt. I want to see athleticism. Like, I'm old and I'm fat and I can't jump high and I can't drive fast. I want to see these guys do these impossible feats of athleticism and like go up a rouge flat out and fucking make it stick and do the pass on the outside. Like, I want to see some of that, not like the virtual thing.
Well, I think to Matt's point, we know when we're watching it that there's no risk, there's no stakes. I mean, you could lose money or just
is
pride,
the right word.
But you're not. When someone does a ballsy pass on Eau Rouge, you're like, if they get this wrong, they're crashing and getting very hurt. And
I want to see like LeBron James, 6'8", however fucking big he is, like dunk on some fools. I don't want to see some dude like ABA plus up, down, left, right. Like, I don't want, like, I want to see, like, this is why I also like the idea of steroid Olympics.
So
I want to see
Market for the show later. Matt took a piece.
some like crazy maximum engineered human beings to like jump the farthest, jump the highest, lift the heaviest weights. Let it be all bets are off. Like, I like the athleticism and with the technology to do some crazy shit.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it's really fun, and we're seeing a lot of people post on Instagram, like a lot of the hoonigan guys and other people are just going, all right, I can't go outside and go driving. I can't go to a track, so I'm going to set up a sim rig. And people are building them. And it's been really interesting to see how quickly the industry of racing has pivoted. Like IMSA and NASCAR are like, okay, all the drivers pretty much have sim rigs, or, you know, the teams own sim rigs. They do a lot of testing on sim because it's one of the things that I don't think are restricted. And they're like, okay, well, we just lost all our races for the next couple months. Let's do something to keep people's eyes on racing, which I do think is a really cool idea. Even if the racing is not as exciting to watch, it's pretty interesting that everyone just turned around really quick. And iRacing is like, we've been doing this for like years, you know, what have we been saying? And then everyone just comes over and goes, hey, what are you guys working on? Can we borrow that? That seems cool.
Well, I wish they mandated. I would like to see all of the, like, the top dudes do the video game racing on the thing. Then they can export that data so I could race Lewis Hamilton, you know what I mean? Or Charles Leclerc, or dudes like that. I could download his moves and then race against it and be like, oh, let's see how this goes. But I know even if I was close to it, I couldn't even hold a candle to it in real life.
You say that.
It doesn't work like that.
You say that, but I watched a video of, what was the guy's name? A young F1 driver, and he was racing in a, iRacing race against this guy who's like a popular YouTuber for racing. He's like, I can't believe I'm racing this dude, and the YouTuber won, and it was like a 20-lap battle, and it was, and he said the reason I won and the F1 driver didn't is because this guy knows how to play the game. Like, he knows the shortcuts you can take. Yeah. He knows where the penalty, like, you can cut corners much more aggressively in the game than you would be able to in the real race, because the digital stewards are not as attentive as they are in real racing. So that's why he won, but it was really fucking close. And otherwise, when they're in corners and going through S's together, like, they both have to have really good throttle modulation and shifting and steering, and it was just like those little differences.
What are you talking about? Real racing driver versus sim racing driver?
Yeah. In sim racing.
Now put them in a car.
PlayStation,
oh, of course.
You know what I mean? Now put them in a car.
PlayStation did that thing forever ago, the Drivers Academy, where they found their top whomever, then they took them to the race school, then they did the thing. Like,
right, but if you never took them to the race school, and it was like, you're awesome at this sim, you've never been on a racetrack, now you're going to go again, now you're going to race this professional driver, they'd get housed.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be ready for the G-forces and the different the data you're intaking. Like, you'd be more stressed. I'm sure, like, their blood pressure and heart, like, everything would get. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm going past the wall at 180 miles an hour. Like, well, that's what it said on the screen. Like, this is the same thing. Yeah. Totally.
Anyway,
dude, like 180 miles an hour, it's really fucking fast. Like, still the fastest I've ever been was in the Panamera Turbo S on the dry lake bed.
Oh yeah.
We did 187, and that's.
You're moving.
Fucking
you're moving. Even on a dry lake bed, you're moving at that. Although when I was at Bonneville in that fucking Jetta, it didn't even really start to feel fast until you got up to about 185, 190, and then it really started to feel quick.
Oh yeah, 180 plus is fast.
Yeah, I did 211 in that Jetta.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The driving experience I want is a WRC car on mountain roads that I know, like in Malibu, just squirting to corner up to about 120 miles an hour. That's it for me.
That's why I saved this question for you, because some guy asked, do you think we'll have gas engine hatchbacks long enough that we'll have a cheap full carbon super light hatchback? Because then you could build, because the R5, the Ford R5 is like the super sick rally car you can buy, right? It isn't like half the bodywork carbon fiber.
Well, the one I love is the Evo chassis is what they call them. So they'll take the Ford Fiesta body shell and stick an Evo drivetrain into it, and then up to whatever the fuck you call it.
Oh, that's kind of like that funky thing I drove in New Zealand, where the guy took a Mitsubishi Mirage and turned it into an Evo.
They just shove a fucking Evo drivetrain into a 2-door Fiesta.
I think it's this. Yeah, it's the R5 Evo.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
That's pretty
just
fucking
an Evo
awesome.
drivetrain, which I think is perfect.
That'll do for sure. That'll do. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
need
yes,
a
and to answer this person's question,
fucking...
I think yes, we're going to have gas cars for a long time. We're not eliminating gas. EVs are like fucking 1.4% market share, dude. We're gonna have gas for a really long time.
Do you think we're gonna have full carbon bodywork? Because they know they have to get the weight down to keep MPGs going up, and that's why they're experimenting with it. They don't care about weight.
They care about cheating the system, and they care about aerodynamics, and they'll get it with aero and tires
first.
And then turbo engines that don't use any gas when you're out of the power band. So in the EPA test, it'll look good. Of course, when you then go fucking hammer down, they'll still murder through fuel like everything else. You know what I mean? Like those EcoBoost Fords, the trucks are not any more fuel efficient than the V8 trucks when you're on the throttle. But in the EPA cycle, where it's very light throttle, they are.
Yeah, it seemed like I think BMW was doing a lot of carbon. Like people were experimenting with carbon, but we know that if it got bumped into and cracked, the repair would probably be impossible or expensive,
right.
And like that would hurt the repair industry. It would hurt owners. It would hurt everything. So it's probably like a cool idea, but they'll keep making the drivetrain more efficient and aero until we transition to something else, I guess.
Well, this guy hasn't read the news. Trump's rolling back all of the Obama era EPA emissions anyway.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's going to actually go through.
Dude, pandemic is a real good time for some authoritarianism. And also, people are sick. Why should we have clean water and air?
Yeah, no EPA. They stopped EPA restrictions on things. Like
no, this whole bailout thing is just going to further the corporatification of America. People aren't going to get fucking
big time
shit.
It's going to fuck a lot of people over.
Yeah.
But like $1,200, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Zach, you got anything else before we wrap this one up?
I mean, there's just general car questions that are not Thaddeus specific.
All right, well, let's get through a few of them, and I want to keep these under 2 hours. You know?
Yeah, sure. I think we're nearing the 2 hour limit.
I know.
Actually, oh yeah. Maximilian says this time I'm sober.
All right, congratulations.
Yeah, he's thrown us some good donations before.
He's the drunk donator?
Yeah, he's the drunk
what
donator.
Up, son?
We like you.
Wait, hold on. Can I back up a second? So this live chat, people donate while we're chatting? Is this how this works? I've never...
They have to pay to ask a question in Super Chat, and then the amount of money they pay determines how many characters they get. And
what do people donate per question? Like $1? $2?
5 to 100.
You're kidding. Who donates $100 fucking to ask
this
a question?
This guy.
It's not common, but every now and then someone makes it rain.
How much is this question?
$100. Isn't it?
Donate
Is it more?
$100 to ask a question
it's
right
red.
now?
It comes up. It's so much that it comes up as red.
Yeah, it does. It's like, hey, pay attention. Look at this one.
All right, fine. I like this guy. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
No, it was good. We did it because we had to supplement ads for a little while, and it also filters. If we had, when we used to say ask questions on Facebook, like in the early podcast days, we'd have 500 to get through, and then we get yelled at if we don't get to them. So this way, we get to all of them in a show or two, and it's working out.
It's a good. It's not like we wouldn't like we would. We're not into like.
Line.
Sorry. Oh God, we did the voicemail. Yeah, don't do that anymore. But
no, it finally got disconnected on me. I stopped answering.
Oh yeah, you had the line, didn't you?
I would get messages from people from like. It was a 4-year ago podcast, and they would still call the number of like, what the fuck?
That's hilarious.
That was like the very beginning of Google Voice.
I know.
Think.
I looked it up. Our first podcast was the very first month of 2012. It's been 8 years.
Wow,
cool.
But for those of you listening, we're all the super chat thing starts at $2, but we're ignoring anything under $5. Just so you know.
Or we give like it'll be the short. If I say short question, it's usually because of that reason. That's right. And sometimes people ask really detailed questions for $2, and it's like we just can't do that.
Yeah.
This guy says He owns
like single deck blackjack at Sherry's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but honestly though, the point is it's not 1-to-1. Like it does get it gets the question in the separate window, but we just don't make the guarantees. We try. Yeah, we do our best. We do our best. We're not guaranteeing.
He's back to this guy. He's
exactly.
No, I'm for $100. We're guaranteed.
He owns an early 911 and he wants a track car again. So he's owned a 997-2 and a 991 RS. He didn't like the RS as much. Should he look into a 997-2 RS or a 991.2 as a track vehicle?
Well, here's the problem. If you don't like the 991 RS that much, what do you think is going to change so drastically about the 991.2? It is updated, but it's the same car. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, so I'd love to know what specifically you didn't like about the 991 so I could tell you if they changed it or not. I happen to like the 991.2 RS. I think it's a lovely car. I think it's great on the racetrack. It's very manageable for how fast it is because it's the NA engine, right? My favorite Porsche of all time is the 997.2 GT3 RS. And so
with the Shark Works.
Yeah, I'd get a 997.2 RS and I would call up Shark Works and I would get a 4.1 engine. And that is pretty much as good as modern Porsches get, if you ask me.
Or I would say, just buy a cup car and call it a day, because then you have all of that other shit.
Yeah,
it's lighter, all the things, and then you're in a race car. It's different. Race cars are just fucking different. You're on slick tires, way different suspension. If it's really a track car, not showing up into the front of the fucking Ritz to try to pull underage women.
Wow, you're oddly specific from Thad there, but okay. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the other thing is if you really, really want a track car, you can go a lot faster for less money if you buy a race car, you know. So
look at 430 challenge car prices.
That's actually a great call too.
Way less than whatever the fuck you would spend for like the bubble of RS land now. Like,
good point.
Even a 996 is $80,000.
For a used Ferrari challenge car is not a terrible option. Not actually.
That would be an amazing experience, dude. Because then because if you're already buying a track car, why not go all the way?
I think 360 challenges might be street legal. They have cats and shit.
To the track. Oh my god!
There's a guy who drives one on the street. It does have. They do have cats and stuff. I think you can drive them on the street.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. I guess it depends. Do you need to trailer it or not?
On Montana plates, probably.
I'm sure it's on a super shady tag, but it's possible. Yeah.
Didn't they?
But if you're gonna get
if you're
gonna get a track car, get a fucking race car. Like, who gives a shit?
Because it's not who gives a shit. Because not everybody can get a race car. Thad, a race car means you also need a truck and a trailer and somewhere to keep both of those things. It's a different thing.
If you're buying a track car, you're like, you know what I mean, and talking in the price range he's talking about for what 991 GT3 is $120,000, give or take.
Yes, but right? But just because you have $120,000 doesn't mean you have room for a truck, trailer, and a race car. It doesn't mean that you never want to drive your car on the street. I mean, you buy a cup car, you are committing to never driving that car on the street. Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of folks who like to do track days who don't need their life further complicated by wanting one vehicle and needing to buy three because of it.
True. Yeah. For people new to Thaddeus,
point, yeah.
Thaddeus is full of whimsy, and so he's just like, "What's the most fun?" Like, what about the other pieces of that puzzle? Like, he goes, "I don't need those pieces."
Like, you have the 120,000, you stick it at 60. Then you can the space is the problem.
Yeah,
is the biggest thing. But
that's why a place called Westside Collector Car Storage exists.
Exactly. That was the segue. And you have a truck to deliver people too in the near future.
I'm not buying a truck. No, I bought a van. I'm delivering people. If we're delivering cars, we're either driving the cars or we are using commercial flatbeds. I'm not owning a truck. I don't want that headache.
Fair enough. I got someone to talk to again off air.
Okay.
But yeah, like if you're going to spend 120 grand on a street car and you're only really going to use it on the track, like you got to like a lower powered whatever will be way more fun than the GT3RS, so you can actually get to the limit. You know what I mean?
Depending on driver ability, of course. Like if this guy's real good, if he's a good shoe, then that might be perfect. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember Lee saying, didn't they change like front turn in on 991.2 when he drove it? He said the front had even better turn in and grip than the 991.1. But again, if this like, did you not like the dash, or did you not like how it felt?
Yeah, but big. Like no one actually knows. Like we don't fucking know.
We don't. Like, that's why I'm parroting what Lee Keane said.
Lee probably knows.
If this guy is asking us, he doesn't know either, despite giving us $100 to fucking.
That's true.
Like it's great, but like just buy fun shit. Like who gives it? Who cares?
Good point.
I gotta plug in my computer. Hold on a second.
All right. Well, I think we'll do last question and segue to WSCC. Is just what is the name of the dope office chair that you chose for Westside Collector Car Storage?
Well, I think he's asking the wrong question, but I think I know what answer you want. I use a Herman Miller chair in my office, but that's not what you want. You're talking about what are the Joe Rogan podcast chairs that we ordered for the new studio that are better for sitting in for a long time, and they're called Capisco. It's the third one there. It's the Capisco.
You're getting the Rogan chairs.
I'm getting the Rogan chairs, yes. They're very, very comfortable.
Are they comfy?
Yes, they are, and they're really they're not expensive. They're not super cheap, but considering the quality of the product, they're reasonably priced, and they have very good back and hip and thigh support. And you see that picture at the bottom? You can sit in them forward and backward. You can do the AC Slater.
You can AC Slater without having to spread your legs.
AC Slater them. So I having done 3.5 hours on Rogan's show, I'm very impressed with these chairs, and so we're going to buy those.
Cool.
Because when we did the Rogan, I ate a Death Star edible that he gave me and then told me not to eat the whole thing. And I did. And I slept on the couch for most of your podcast.
I was listening to them this morning, fucking Joey Diaz. First off, shout out Joey Diaz, who had 11 cats at one point, is down to 3. He's a cat guy.
Wow.
But he's like, I gotta stop with the fucking edibles. They don't work no more. Have
you watched
he needs to take
Tom
a break.
Segura's special?
I haven't yet, but it's on the list. I like Tom Segura.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I have DM'd with Tom Segura a couple times on Instagram. He follows us.
You got to get Tom and fucking Brendan Schaub to do a track day with you, like sitting right hand seat.
Nope. I'm not riding right seat with nobody.
Or some kind of fucking content with.
Come on the podcast virtually. Bert Kreischer said he would too when I met him at the Comedy Store. He's like, I don't know shit about cars, but that sounds fun.
Dude, he's so fun.
His special is
Bert
funny.
Is a fucking weapon. It would be so much fun to get wasted with him.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing that I miss about Dubai. There's no stand-up comedy scene. I watch all this. Like every time I've been back to California, we've done a stand-up night and gone and had a good time. So next time I come back, once we can travel the world again.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's in the government owns the fucking airline, and so you can't fly out of there until at least June. They just shut the whole airline down.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
Did I send you the picture?
Yeah, of all the planes on the ground.
Dude, it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Well, don't worry. They also closed the Comedy Store, so there won't be comedy for a while.
When it's up and running again, like I've never seen so like think about the fucking cost involved of like putting all those planes on the ground. But
my god, it's crazy.
A whole other conversation.
Yeah, and as far as comedy goes, the streaming comedy sucks balls. I tried to watch someone's like streaming stand-up. It's fucking horrible. And I tried to watch John Oliver, who I love, but doing his show without an audience.
Without laughter, it's weird.
It's unwatchable.
It's very weird without laughter.
And I love John Oliver, and he does a great job, and his writers are so smart, and the jokes are still good. But without the audience there to have the vibe, it's just like, oh, this is terrible.
Did you see the wrestling thing when they were performing to the empty stadium?
No, but I bet it's terrible.
That sounds funny.
I think it's so bad. Like when we get off of this, just Google that. It's just like, can I get a hell yeah? Whatever the guy that does that.
Oh, they did the whole show. That is so funny.
It's so cringy. It's
oh my god,
amazing.
they gotta like overdub. They gotta like laugh track that. Like they need to record some crowds
so
going
bad.
hell yeah, something at least.
So fucking bad.
Well, thanks for fucking spending 2 hours with us, dude. Appreciate that.
I'm not going anywhere. We can do another one in a week. I'll report back from my fully stocked grocery stores.
Well, you can be on the cruise show next week for sure if we want to do it. We'll just have you fucking call in. This is easy.
That's fine. I can do since I'm mostly working from home. I can do an early one, my time, late time, your time.
Oh, we'll alternate so I can get drunk on the next one and you have to be sober.
Yeah. But I may also get drunk in them.
Yeah, what's the difference? You're not fucking going anywhere.
It's airport rules from here on out. Like it doesn't matter.
And the longer we go, the more expensive your drunkenness gets.
Oh no! Oh, dude, get this. So I don't know if anyone else will care. So I've been doing Vivino to track what wines I've drank since the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
I've had 90 different wines.
Oh wow!
But I was in the Emirates Lounge, departing to Scotland for a project, and they had a $500 bottle of wine, a $300 bottle of wine, a $200 bottle of wine, and a $120 bottle of wine just in the regular lounge area.
Like pour it yourself. Just take.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I love Emirates Airlines so much. It's so good.
So my flight's at 9 a.m. I'm in there at 7 a.m. I have like 6 different wines in front of me and some scrambled eggs.
You made a flight.
I'm just like I'm staring at the wine cabinet, looking in the back because it's one of the ones that are like way far out at the end of the airport. It's like a mile of fucking walking to get to it. But they had the best fucking wines. I had a 1982 something
in the lounge. What?
Yeah, bro. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
That's fucking so silly.
On here.
No, I do.
Wow.
I remember when I was flying Emirates,
ridiculous.
the Emirates lounge in Dubai is so sick. It's the dopest airport lounge. There was a pool. There was full.
There's a pool.
Yeah, and it was.
Have you had a shower at the airport yet?
I haven't, but they did have showers there, yeah. And they have a divider down the middle that's glass, and one side is smoking and the other side's not smoking, but they're exactly the same. At the time, I was smoking cigarettes, and I really appreciated that. Because you board through the lounge, so you could have a cigarette up until 12 seconds before you're getting on the plane, which as a smoker, I was like, this is where...
Yeah, you got to pack it in like a camel, right?
It's a long flight.
Yeah.
They just did, by the way, did you notice the longest passenger flight ever recorded just happened from Tahiti? No, it was Tahiti to Paris.
Oh, really?
We were talking about this when we left Tahiti because it's a French colony. So a lot like the flight Tahiti to LAX goes on to Charles de Gaulle. We're like, fuck, that's a long flight. But they shut down the flights to America from Tahiti. But Tahiti to Charles de Gaulle is actually considered domestic if you don't stop in LA first. So they did a 9,900 mile, 20-hour domestic flight from Tahiti to France.
So because they were basically like, how are we going to get these people home?
Yeah.
Well, the plane could do it.
And the plane was light because there were no passengers destined for America, and there were no passengers that were going to go LAX to Charles de Gaulle. It was only Tahiti to Charles de Gaulle. So it was like a third of the plane. Wow. So they had enough fuel to just fucking do it straight. Yeah, 20 hours.
That is crazy.
Yeah, longest passenger flight.
Wow.
So it was a 1985 Saint Julien Chateau de Cru Belle Beau Caliu Grand Cru class.
Wow.
In the
lounge?
1985.
That's amazing.
In the lounge.
How long is that flight, Zach? It's 9,900 miles, I think.
Let's see.
LA is 16.
Previously,
8,000 miles.
Previously, Qantas had flown 11,000 miles last year. I remember they were testing that. They were testing some crazy direct. Oh yeah, London to Sydney. They were testing.
Yeah.
This is the longest scheduled domestic flight, and
I think it was 10,000 miles.
9,765 miles from Papeete to Paris.
That's a long flight.
So it's the longest ever scheduled flight.
Yeah,
that's insane. That they were like, "Look, we'll just skip the layover."
Yeah,
everyone can just. I mean, that's
no.
That's good. I mean, people are. Otherwise you could get stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, so anyway,
Anyway, when I come back, I'm using all of my fucking miles that I haven't been able to use to get absolutely rat-assed in the business class lounge.
Well, I've got all the bottles you sent to our
house
house waiting for you.
I know. When I get off the plane, I'll be shit-faced when I get in the Uber because you won't pick me up because it's LAX.
You will feel so bad.
No, LAX is quiet now. Now that and LAX is mellow as fuck. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, to the live audience for joining us. Thad, thanks for calling from Dubizzle. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of that bottle. For those of us,
done, dude.
Oh, great! Enjoy the next bottle.
It's been gone. I might crack the Blantons because we talked about it earlier.
Oh shit! Get down. But you could also sell it for triple your money right now.
Nah, fuck that. I'm in lockdown. I'm drinking this shit.
I know, right? I got 2 bottles of Bland's in my house. I'm like, well, guess I'm drinking this. And for those of us who want to participate live, Rob Ferretti will be on the show Friday in 2 days at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. That is all for us today. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine and now Skype and Zoom. Get your own podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a connection to the internet, a microphone, and ideally something to say. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Peace out, Thad.